Hi, my name is Jaleel Johnson, and I will be interviewing my older brother, Corey Tynes. We'll start this by your first and last name.
Corey Tynes.
How old were you at the time of the attack?
16.
16. And how old are you now?
26.
26. And can I ask what town you were in, or what city you were in when the attacks took place?
I was in Springfield, Mass. That's where I went to high school.
All right. So you were a freshman in high school?
Junior.
Junior in high school? All right. I'm going to start with my first question. What were you doing on September 11th, 2001? How did you find out about the attacks?
That day I was in school, obviously, junior in high school, and we were in class at the time. I was in Spanish class, and then what we found out was, I believe it had to have been a principal or someone in the office, briefly made an announcement that, because at the time there was just a plane had crashed into Tower 1, so at the time he just said, it was all over TV, so he just gave all the teaching staff a heads up through the intercom to turn on the televisions and put it on. I think it was just regular NBC at the time, and just follow along, because basically we were being attacked, or there was some attacks in New York. We didn't know what had happened at the time, but just giving us a heads up that a plane had been, there was a disaster. A plane had been flown into a building, and I believe when the first plane had actually hit, we didn't think it was an accident, but it wasn't confirmed that it was a terrorist attack at the time.
All right, and what was your immediate reactions to the attacks? What memories are most vivid to you?
I believe at the attacks, I was all really surprised, just because there wasn't really any, I want to say, there had never been any threat to America, and if there were, it was mostly just bombings. Never actually, when people used to hijack planes, you never thought that they would use them as weapons. It was mostly they would hijack a plane and they'd want to get flown somewhere. So this was the first time when average civilians were actually at risk, when they plan on just living their normal day-to-day life. So I would say, I remember me and my classmates were very surprised, very in shock. I remember my Spanish teacher in particular crying, because she just immediately ensued that many lives would be lost. We all thought that from that point on we would immediately go into warfare, which unfortunately we did. But I remember those are some of the memories, like my teachers crying. We got out of school early that day because there was a fear. No one really knew what was going to happen. As the second plane flown into Tower 2, no one knew what was going to happen next, if America was going to be attacked, all the large landmarks. So there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of surprise, I'd say, were my emotions at the time.
What do you remember about the responses of people in your local community across America, the international community, the U.S. government?
I remember people were pretty enraged, especially, I'll never forget, there was a clip that came on when the rest of the world had found out about the attacks, and people were kind of dancing in the street across the world. So I remember people were a little embarrassed and enraged and very heartfelt out to the civilians and citizens in New York. It was kind of a sense of, where do we go from here on out? America, up until that time, was considered untouchable. So for us to be attacked, not even by another country, but just by an organization, was unheard of. So we were all, we were thinking, if this could happen in New York City to America, who knows, who knows what else will happen. So I'd say that was mostly the reactions from most of the locals in Springfield anyway, was, if this could happen in a big city such as New York, it could happen anywhere.
Do you consider September 11th to be a pivotal event in your life, in the history of the United States, in the world?
Most definitely. Before September 11th, I'd say our economy, it was beginning to go down, but I'd say from September 11th up until now, America hasn't really